seconds. I will put the camera in position and then we can join in the conversation. So, I was like maybe a couple of times this winter in warmer places, and in the warmer places everybody speaks English, so I got a little bit used to speaking English. So, and then I decided, well, since I'm working a lot, building gazebos and maybe saunas, I decided to do like every second Thursday, like do meditation evening. And this Thursday we decided to do, I felt like channeling, so we did the channeling. Many questions, and one of those questions was about saunas. I'm not sure why did saunas came across, because I started building saunas. But anyways, it put me into a new perspective how I observe and see saunas right now. But who knows? Channeling is information, and some things can be really useful from those channelings. And so they asked, from what should we build saunas? And they said basically saunas should be, they classified, well, you can have and look many times from many perspectives how and what type of sauna you want and how do you build, but we will look from a sauna that is related to like a physical, spiritual art. Like sauna, physical and spiritual art. So what it means was that you can have like a more spiritual connection to things, which means I will try to keep this video very short, which means that for example, if you, me and somebody else is in the sauna, we start sweating. If the sauna is the stove is full with rocks, and they recommend as largest rocks as you can, will be really nice. If the sauna is full with rocks, you pour water on them, then the steam comes out, and basically what happens is all sauna is basically a steam type of a sauna. Like there's a huge moisture in the sauna, heat and moisture. So all your sweat, maybe you have some plants in there, let's say that you took from your, grassland, like bushes, like we call them medical plants, or brooms. People use brooms in saunas here in Latvia. But what happens is your sweat, those brooms, those plants, those leaves, all those nicely smelly, all those plants with nice smell, they also start to vapor, and the all moisture content which is in the sauna room gets filled with parts of everything that is in the room, all those materials which are including your sweat, the walls, the plants, the water, the moisture. They say what happens is, because the stove generates like infrared heat waves, those heat waves attack rocks, so those rocks resonate their own energy, amplified, and that energy resonates the entire moisture which is in the room. So the information was, the higher the moisture, the less effect you have from those infrared waves. But it also generates, what I saw in those visions, that the materials, let's say plant moisture which is in the air, is being resonated from those heat waves from rocks also, and their energy starts becoming more sensible because they resonate more. So basically what happens is, everything which is in the moisture energetically becomes amplified. So what happens is you have a stronger sense, a stronger feeling, and a stronger taste of all those materials which are there. And they said, well, that is a spiritual practice, and then you can sense a lot of more things. For example, if there is another person in the room, in the sauna, you have a more spiritual connection with him. You have like a more soul-like connection with him. Maybe you can start reading him. Maybe you can sensing him more. You put yourself into a spiritual connection. The same is with plants. So when they say, if you want to build a sauna, you can basically build it as close as you can with connection to nature, meaning that you can put from raw clay like a small house full with plants or trees or leaves or brooms or sticks or whatever made of natural elements, and then heat it up, and you will have like a deep. Yeah, so that was quite interesting for me, and it got me to a point where I would really want to try out to get some unique plants, just hang them in the sauna, create some high moisture and temperature, and just start smelling that plant's energy and entering myself in a stronger meditative state. In fact, they've been recommended to use as more irregular and more larger rocks. They said the larger the rocks, the meditative it will become. The smaller the rocks, the more resonance, the more noise it will create, and therefore it will create a feeling that you want to move, that you want to do, that you want to move, that you want to do. The larger the rocks will create like a more meditative and deeper stuff. And yeah, so anyways, there were different questions they asked, and there were different answers, but maybe topic about saunas was like maybe 15%, like 10 to 15%. There were lots of other questions, but it was really interesting, especially the part where, you know, I'm working very practically every day, and all of a sudden you need to connect to somebody, and you don't know how to do it, but it happens by itself. The voice, the fingers, everything happens by itself, and you feel like, man, this is crazy. But then again, a voice in your head says, no, you already done this before, it's nothing crazy. I'm like, yeah, but this is crazy because from my perspective where I was. But anyways, continuing. So yeah, there were some private questions, but or maybe closer to private questions, but nevertheless, there was one interesting thing which also got my attention. Was a woman asks that she has written down things on a sheet of paper that to whom she must pay more attention to, and maybe those things that she needs to do. Can the Enrico highlight those things, because she doesn't know what to do in her life? And he said, why should we highlight those things that you want to do? But can you highlight yourself? Why are you writing down the things that you should do and need to do? And why do you ask this question? Can you ask us, why do you want to ask that? What do you want to ask yourself a question? What should you do? What is the cause of those questions? And she responded like, well, that's a good question, because it's not the answer, it's the question. Why have you come to a point where you are putting yourself down? What did cause that situation, so that you don't know what to do and you write down and try to figure out what should you do in your life? That was an interesting point, because many people are like, for example, from the channeling perspective, the insight from those beings was that you are processing your thoughts and you create your own concepts and you try to find an answer between those concepts that you have created or accepted. Now, you've been living so far until this point that you don't know what to do, and you're trying to find an answer within those concepts that you have created. But what we can tell you is that try to ask yourself, why have you created such concepts? And what is the main cause that you have come down to writing down those ideas and trying to figure out what should you do? Like find the cause of that very question and the very situation, not try to conceptualize a new idea, what should you do? And that was like an interesting point of view, how to approach things. And I remember at the end of the video, at the end of the channeling session, there was something about the money also. How I asked about money. How can we or should we approach money or use money? And they said that you don't like to spend money. They say you are afraid to spend money. They say you like to collect money. They say yes. It's very strange because when you are in a way of fearing to spend money, fearing to lose money, you are also creating limited insights to approach life. For example, if you are in a deep fear state of losing, this state also does not show you opportunities. For example, he said, well, yeah, for example, there is like I said, $10, somebody accidentally or especially throw down a $10 bill. And because people can be so tightly in those fears, in those things that they don't even notice those small things all around us. Especially maybe there's like $10 bill laying on the bottom of the floor and you didn't notice, you just passed it by. So the overall idea was to, well, they didn't say to lose those fears, but they said that the overall idea is that to be more open-minded and more active, nonetheless stop fearing about losing money, because you can get to a position where you don't have anything, and that's a good position because you cannot lose anything anymore. So become more open-minded, that you really know that there is no worse situation anymore possible. So become more active, more open, more, let's say, expanding in all directions, more joyful. Just let go of lose. Just lose the feeling that you want to control and count your own money and be feared of losing it. And anyway, they start answering this question, and other questions arise. There was a woman, what should I do in my life? They said, well, to me you look like a woman that loves to drive by the rules, like follow traffic lights and everything. I said, well, we're not saying this, but you could become a little more, let's say, slippier in this question, more relaxed and more, you can just drive a little left, a little right, maybe over some lines, or maybe park a little bit incorrectly. Be more freer. But it's not like not following the rules, but allow a space of freedom. And to another person they said, well, allow yourself to cry. Because I think what I felt is she wants to cry, but she's like blocking it. No, don't cry. I don't want to cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. They said, allow yourself to cry. And it was actually, I didn't know that. I didn't know that many people are blocking their tears, but that was like encouragement. Just allow it. Allow it to happen. Don't worry about that. Allow that energy to overcome, or to, just be as it is. Allow it to happen. Anyway, I'm very tired. It's nearly 1 past midnight, so I'll stop making this video and see you guys in another video. Cheers. Bye bye.